And we're back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Roll School. My name's Nathaniel. I'm one of the hosts here at the channel, and we are bringing you guys another video. This one kind of about all the stuff going on with Xbox. We actually weren't going to make a video on this, but then it just kind of kept having stuff come out about it, and I figured we should talk about it. I apologize just off the start here. I'm a little under the weather. I'm trying to recover this weekend, so hopefully I can be healthy for the school week and not have to be off of work. But just know if I sound a little weird, or if you see me drinking some tea, it's because I'm trying to make sure that I'm okay. There we go. As always, before we jump into things, I will say if you haven't liked, commented, subscribed, any and all of it's greatly appreciated. You guys make Roll School so great. And let's get into what in the hell's happening at Xbox. So, as you can see by the headline here, Phil Spencer retiring, Sarah Bond out, Matt Booty promoted as Microsoft AI exec, Asha Sharma, hopefully I'm saying that right, named new Xbox boss exclusive. So we're going to get into all of it. We're going to get in what I think, and we're just going to talk about it. Because as you guys probably know, we primarily play on PlayStation, but I own an Xbox Series X. I actually was pretty excited for Xbox to have the most powerful, I wasn't excited for it, but I was excited that there was a even more powerful console at next-gen launch than the PS5. The Series X looked incredible in terms of what it was able to do. And I feel like Xbox really dropped that ball. In fact, they didn't just drop it. They threw it out of the entire court and then popped it so that no one could play with it again. So here we go. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer, who has been at Microsoft since he joined as an intern in 1988, with Xbox since the software giant launched its first console in 2001, is retiring. Sources familiar with the matter who are not authorized to speak publicly confirmed to IGN Spencer's retirement is effective on Monday, February 23rd. Meanwhile, Xbox President Sarah Bond, long thought by many both inside and outside of Microsoft to be Spencer's heir apparent, has resigned. The new CEO of Microsoft Gaming will be Asha Sharma, currently the president of Microsoft's core AI product. We are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that a lot, actually. Finally, Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty is being promoted to Chief Content Officer and will work closely with Sharma. A lot of thoughts here. As we mentioned, we know that Sarah Bond, like most of us, thought that she was going to step into the CEO role, so it's a little bit weird that that didn't happen. She just kind of disappeared, all things considered. Most people speculate that she wasn't offered the position and then promptly left the company, as her intention was to move into that position or go. I want to thank Phil for his extraordinary leadership and partnership. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said in an email sent to Microsoft staff, over 38 years at Microsoft, including 12 years leading gaming, Phil helped transform what we do and how we do it. Full emails from Nadella, Spencer, Sharma, and Booty are below. Cool. This is going to be a long article, but let's get into it. All right. Spencer, in his email to Microsoft staff, said, in part, last fall I shared with Satya that I was thinking about stepping back and starting the next chapter of my life. From that moment, we aligned on approaching this transition with intention, ensuring stability and strengthening the foundation we built. Xbox has always been more than a business. It's a vibrant community of players, creators, and teams who care deeply about what we build and how we build it, and it deserves a thoughtful, deliberate plan for the road ahead. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think that there was a time that Xbox represented that, but I do think that more recently, Xbox has been far more about trying to expand and desperately trying to get people to purchase games and softwares on other platforms because they aren't prioritizing their own platform, because they basically said nothing's an Xbox because everything's an Xbox, so why would you need to buy an Xbox? You don't. You have a TV, you have a phone, you have a tablet. Congratulations, you have an Xbox, so you don't actually have to purchase any of our stuff, which is not ideal for profit margins, right? Today marks an exciting new chapter for Microsoft Gaming as Asha Sharma, which you can see here on the left, steps into a role of CEO. I want to be the first to welcome her to this incredible team. Working with her over the past several months has given me tremendous confidence. She brings genuine curiosity, clarity, and deep commitment to understanding players, creators, and the decisions that shape our future. We know this is an important moment for our fans, partners, and team, and we're committed to getting it right. I'll remain in an advisory role through the summer to support a smooth handoff. Okay, so this is her and Matt Booty. We can see here that a lot of people don't love what Matt Booty did in terms of like Halo and those sorts of things. But we got to remember that there are other projects that he was a part of that did do successful. I mean, being in charge of games means that he greenlit Indiana Jones, means that he greenlit Grounded 2, which has been doing really good. I mean, there are games that Microsoft has put out that look like they're doing pretty good, and games to come, hopefully with like Fable and whatnot that we can see doing really good. I know a lot of people are a bit concerned with Asha, considering that she's not really a gamer and is pretty vocal about the fact that she's not a gamer. She did say that she looks forward to stepping more into that role, and she shared her profile with people, and she also asked for suggestions in terms of what games she should be playing in her free time. But you should know that, generally speaking, she is not a gamer. She is a businesswoman. She was in the core AI part of Microsoft and is now transitioning over to gaming. Sharma is a former vice president of product and engineering at Meta and former Instacart COO. Okay, when she was at Instacart COO, she was known very heavily for being able to bring people in, right? Just increasing the consumer numbers for Instacart, and she was very good for that. I think Xbox is hoping that they can take those skills and apply them to Xbox so that they can rebuild a fan base that has all but crumbled and has completely dissipated. She was also a board member of the Home Depot. She joined Microsoft in 2024. In her email to Microsoft staff, she wrote in part, "My first job is simple. Understand what makes this work and protect it." That starts with 3 commitments. First, great games. Everything begins here. We must have great games beloved by players before we do anything. I can agree with that. I think that at the end of the day, Microsoft has been putting out some crappy games. They haven't exactly put in a ton of thought into what games they're coming out with, and they've dispersed them all over the place to where there's no connection between a good Microsoft game and the Xbox console, right? If you want to play God of War Ragnarok before it came to PC, you had to buy the PlayStation. You want to play Ghost of Yotei? The PlayStation. You want to play Marvel Spider-Man 2 before it came to PC? The PlayStation. They're tied to the PlayStation. You want to play Mario Kart World? You want to play Donkey Kong Bonanza? These are great games, or at least things that are highly considered great games. They are tied to the system, the box, the console. That is the pros from a business perspective of exclusivity. And I can understand from the consumer side, it's nice to be able to play games wherever, but there is no incentive for players to build an Xbox, to buy an Xbox. And I think that if they focus on great games that sell on their console, that would be a reason to buy an Xbox. Unforgettable characters, stories that make us feel, innovative gameplay, and creative excellence. So I assume that's just going into what makes a great game. We will empower our studios, invest in iconic franchises, and back bold new ideas. We will take risks. I think that is good news, right? I think the only way Xbox gets out of this alive is if they're willing to take risks and kind of move back in the other direction. Where was I? We will enter new categories and markets where we can add real value, grounded in what players care about most. I promoted Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. He understands the craft and the challenges of building great games, has led teams that deliver award-winning work, and has earned the trust of game developers across the industry. Second, so this is the second thing, the return of Xbox. Exactly. Everything is not an Xbox. Xbox is an Xbox. And I think that's what fans really want to hear. We will recommit to our core Xbox fans and players. Now, we're talking 360 era, which is a little bit before me even, right? I came late to the game on the PS3 side of things and then rolled quickly into PS4, which was by far the dominant of that generation. Xbox One couldn't even compete. But Xbox 360 was dominant over the PlayStation 3. So it did go both ways. And I really think Series X is where they sold, as my middle schoolers would put it, right? They sold because they had an opportunity and they did not take it. Those who have invested with us for the past 25 years, and to the developers who built the expansive universes and experiences that are embraced by players across the world. We will celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. Again, we're saying the right thing. Now, just because we're saying the right thing does not mean we're doing the right thing, right? I am not attesting that they're going to do the right thing, but I do think a commitment back to the console, the Xbox, a premium console with premium experiences that are not just cash grabs and AI slop, which we'll get into, right? That is what Xbox needs to return to. They need to put out a solid console with solid games and can stick to it for a long enough time that it shows commitment and players can learn to trust them again. That is what they need to do. That's all there is to it. That's what they need to do. We will celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. It connects us to the players and fans who invest in Xbox and to developers who build ambitious experiences for it. Gaming now lives Goodness gracious, guys. Across devices, not within the limits of a single piece of hardware. As we expand across PC, mobile, and cloud, Xbox should feel seamless, instant, and worthy of the communities we serve. That worries me a little bit. I think that Xbox really needs to brand back into consoles, though I do think the pick up and play experience between your console and your PC is really nice. I think that the amount of mobile and cloud genuine gaming we're seeing is pretty slim. People typically have a physical setup, whether it's a console or a PC, that they want to game at. It's or portable PC, handheld type thing. But typically they have an actual piece of hardware that is dedicated to the gaming, not, oh, I'm just going to whip out my phone. For, I should say, hardcore gamers, right? Obviously you have like mobile gaming, but I think that they're two entities. They're different categories, and they're not mutually exclusive, but there is little overlap between them. All right. We will break down barriers so developers can build once and reach players everywhere without compromise. I don't like that, right? Because there are things that you can pull off on a console or a PC that you just can't pull off on a mobile. There are things that you can do with dedicated hardware that you just might not be able to stream as well. I think that recognizing the differences between the thing that you're playing on, whether it is a phone, a tablet, a TV, a streaming service, a PC, or a console, is not a bad thing. It's not bad to recognize that this is stronger than this and it plays different things. I didn't grow up expecting mobile games to be the same as the games that I could play on my PlayStation, on my Xbox, on my dad's computer. They were different levels of hardware and experiences, and it was okay. I recognize that. I didn't get the same game on PlayStation that I did on my DS because the DS wasn't capable of it. It was okay. It was a different experience. Here we go. Third, future of play. We are witnessing the reinvention of play. To meet the moment, we will invent new business models. I don't know what that means. I assume that that's probably like a restructuring of Game Pass or something like that. I'm a little concerned about what new business models means, but new ways to play by leaning into what we already have, iconic teams, characters, and worlds that people love, but we will not treat those worlds as static IP to milk and monetize. We will build a shared platform and tools that empower developers and players to create and share their own stories. I don't really know what that means. I don't really know what they're getting at here. Like, does this mean that they're going to do like Halo, Gears of War, and Mass Effect universes that you can build within? Like, are we trying to Marvel Cinematic Universe-ize the Xbox franchises? I just don't think that's good. I understand that static IP to release Game 2, then Game 3, then Game 4 is not necessarily ideal. But at the end of the day, if you put out a solid new game, people want a sequel, you put out a solid sequel, maybe you do that 3 times, and then in that time, you're coming up with creative new ideas, and you rinse and repeat the process. I don't think we need to build platforms for people to build within. That sounds very Fortnite-ification of you, very Roblox-ification of you, and I'm worried about that. Here we go, this is going to get good. As monetization and AI evolve and influence its future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us. Now, there's no doubt that the future of video games involves AI work. So I think the real question is what level of the creative and design process is actually being segmented to AI versus is being concepted by a human being, written out, brainstormed, etc. by a human being. Booty said in his email to Microsoft staff, looking forward, I'm excited to partner with Asha as our next CEO. Our first conversation centered on her commitment to making great games and the role that plays in our overall success. She asks questions, pushes for clarity, and wants our choices grounded in player and developer needs. That mindset matters. The industry around us is changing quickly. How players engage, how games are made, and how business models and platforms evolve. That's true, right? We're not back in 2015. It's not the same universe in which you make a game, but I do think it's important to recognize that the millions of Roblox gamers and the gamers that want to spend $60 or $70 on their single player, immersive world experience are, like I said, mostly mutually exclusive. There's very little overlap between those. We have good reasons to believe in what's ahead. This organization and its franchises have navigated change for our decades, and our strength comes from teams who know how to adapt and keep delivering. That confidence is grounded in a strong pipeline of established franchises, new bets we believe in, and clear player demand for what we are building. Bond joined Xbox in 2017 following a stint as an executive at T-Mobile. This after both her parents worked in the telecom industry as Xbox corporate VP of BizDev. In partnership, she became a corporate VP of Game Creator Experience Ecosystem after that, before being named president of Xbox in 2022. Spencer was named head of Xbox. That's going to bother me that I didn't get the S. There we go. In March of 2014, when he was tasked with writing a ship that had made a number of product choices and policy decisions that rubbed core gamers the wrong way in the run-up to the launch of the Xbox One in fall 2013. Long hailed by gamers as being one of their own, Spencer could frequently be found on Xbox Live, playing games regularly with fellow Xbox gamers and racking up a healthy gamer score. His first major move, when put in charge, was decoupling the Kinect 2.0 peripheral from the Xbox One package, thus immediately reducing the new console's price by $100 to $399, matching the day one price of Sony's PS4. He spearheaded the much heralded backwards compatibility movement within Xbox, which I think is great. I think the backwards compatibility of Xbox is one of the biggest things that they can rely on, right? The fact that it goes all the way back to the original Xbox almost without fail, almost completely without fail, is huge. I mean, I exclusively have an Xbox for Game Pass, potentially what was going to be the most powerful console, which it isn't now because we have a PS5 Pro, and it's backwards compatibility so that I can play games like Lego Lord of the Rings, which I have to play on disc, and the only system that I have available that can play PS3 era games is an Xbox. Where were we? The Xbox Game Pass service was born under his watch, which I don't like subscription services. I do think that Xbox Game Pass for a long time was a stupidly good deal. I think it's now an okay deal, and I think it's going to continue to trend in that direction, right? Like, we are going to see it trend down. So generally speaking, I'm not advising people to get hooked into it because you're joining an ecosystem that is crashing. Longer video than I thought. All right, here we go. And accessibility made major advances during his tenure in both hardware and software. Xbox Play Anywhere, which sought to let gamers play their Xbox games on any device, be it a PC, console, or handheld, isn't new, but has been a big recent focal point. Totally fair. Spencer's time running Xbox will perhaps be most remembered for Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Let's see how important all of this stuff is. Spencer's time running Xbox will perhaps be most remembered, as we just said, King of 2022, Activision Blizzard King, which took almost 2 years to achieve regulatory approval. And I know Sarah Bond got a lot of hype for being the one that did this, right? Sarah Bond got a lot of approval because she was the one that got it approved from various agencies around the world, but Spencer began trying to solve for Xbox death, I assume is what that's supposed to say, of first-party games in 2018, when the first wave of studio acquisitions occurred. Prior to the Activision deal, Spencer's biggest move came with a $7.5 billion acquisition of ZeniMax, parent company of Bethesda, in 2020. The deal gave Xbox total ownership of Bethesda Game Studios and its Fallout and Elder Scrolls franchises, along with id Software and its Doom and Quake IPs, among many others. Questions arose from there about whether or not that meant all of Xbox's new studios would produce games exclusively for Xbox consoles, while some games were kept off of PlayStation platforms temporarily. Many weren't, and most now seem to come to PS5 eventually, if not on day one. And I think that this kills Xbox, right? Like I said, if you make a good game, and you've bought the right to have that game be exclusive to yourself, even if it's for a short time gate, it makes business sense, not necessarily consumer sense, but it makes business sense to time gate it and make your box, your Xbox, your console, if you care about hardware sales, if you're not just a software only, company, if you care about hardware sales and you want to say, like, we are a brand, we are Xbox, you need to incentivize the purchase of an Xbox. It's not that complicated. Xbox launched one new console generation during Spencer's time at the helm, the Xbox Series S and S. Oh my God. The unique two-pronged hardware strategy aimed to give core gamers the most powerful console in the market while offering more casual gamers a more affordable entry point at Xbox 4th generation. A global pandemic and a lack of compelling software to take advantage of the new machines got the Xbox Series off to a slow start, from which it has never really recovered, culminating in a disastrous holiday 2025 sales period that followed 2 price increases on the aging hardware. Let's pause for a moment and let me talk about this, because I had some stuff to say about this morning. It was kind of the whole reason Ashley said you need to make this video, Nathaniel. So the PS5 came out, and honestly, it was disastrous, right? I'm a PlayStation diehard fan pretty much, and it was disastrous. And the Xbox had the opportunity to say, you know what? We have the most powerful console. It is not debatable that the Xbox Series X was about 30% more powerful than the PlayStation 5. It just was. Now, whether or not that difference in power actually culminated in anything, I mean, it's up to you, right? But here was the big issue. so many fans of PlayStation were complaining that from the get-go, PlayStation 5 games, almost all of them, were not being made exclusively for PS5. So they were being held back by mechanics and gameplay elements that had to be able to function on the PlayStation 4. An old console at that point, a 10-ish, 8 to 10 year old console at that point. And that frustrated gamers. I think Xbox had the best opportunity to take their premium console, which was the same price as the PS5 at launch, their premium console, go, you know what, this is stronger than the PS5. And we are going to make games that function only on this exclusively premium console so that you get premium experiences that you're asking for. That you're, look at Demon's Souls remake that came out on PlayStation 5. People gawked over how good that game looked because it was a next-gen exclusive game that was pushing the hardware to what it was truly capable of. And if Xbox branded themselves on making games that were doing that while leaving behind the older generation, that honestly, they fucked up. Their old generation was terrible. Nobody wanted an Xbox One. They lost it completely to the PS4. They should have just left it behind and moved forward. Now, I'm not actually against the creation of the Xbox Series S. I think the Xbox Series S was great because you do have casual gamers. I have a good friend of mine that still plays on PS4. Sarah, if you ever watch this, hello. I assume you're still playing on PS4. And there's nothing wrong with that because the games that she's playing, that she enjoys playing, function just fine on the PS4. It gets what she wants done. There's actually PS5 in her household now because her fiance has a PlayStation 5. But if they want to play together, most of the games that they play are not hardware taxing, and she's able to play on a PS4, no problem. So the Xbox Series S was a great segue to go, did you miss out on next generation? You're on the last generation, and you're a casual gamer. Here is a box that is cheaper than the previous consoles. It's $250. You could find it for less, depending on where you looked. It's $250-ish, depending on where it was and what time of the year you were buying it. It was extremely portable. And it was still more powerful than the Xbox One and the PS4. Like, it was an in-between console because that level of technology was very cheap to do now. I think that was a great idea. Xbox absolutely fucked up when they decided to make the rule that all games going forward had to be able to have compatibility sequence and compatibility mirroring, or whatever they ended up calling it, between the Series S and the Series X, because they did exactly what Sony was doing, but worse, where they locked themselves to the last generation. But the last generation thing they were locking themselves to was the other next-gen console that they put out. So I'm not actually against the two-pronged hardware strategy, but this is how it should have gone. It should have been, here's a very affordable, casual gamer experience in a box that's portable and does everything that the last gen did, but better. There it is. And here is our new premium console for our hardcore gamers that we're going to make games to support, because all the games from last gen are out there for those casual gamers to enjoy, and there's still going to be new indies and small games that can run on it just fine. Here is our new box. Here is our Series X that we're going to be making games for going forward, and we are releasing now that are exclusive to it and are using its power to the best of our ability to make never before seen experiences for you. And I think it would have been beautiful. I think Xbox would have dominated this generation because Sony was busy shitting the bed. But what I said earlier that Ashley said I have to put in the video, so I will say this right now. No one's talking about Sony shitting the bed because Xbox decided to lay down and roll in it. And so we have to talk about Xbox being covered in shit and not Sony shitting the bed and disbanding Bluepoint and all of these things that Sony's making horrible decisions. And Xbox is going, here, hold my beer. This is how you really fuck up a company. Oh, I'm mad. And I'm not even an Xbox fan. Xbox has finally been regularly delivering a steady cadence of good quality games over the past year plus, from Stalker 2, no. Black Ops 6, fine. Microsoft Flight Simulator, good. Indiana Jones: The Great Circle, heard that one was great. Avowed, South of Midnight, don't know enough about that one. Doom Dark Ages, heard that one was really good, but it's a little nicher than the normal audience for it. Ninja Gaiden 4, could not tell you enough about it. Keeper, don't actually even know what that is. Outer Worlds 2, heard it was good, but they tried to sell it for $80. That was a fucking mistake. And the not as well received Black Ops 7. There were plenty of those games that were just listed that were also not that well received. Now, The 2026 lineup looks set to include Forza Horizon 6, that would be awesome. Fable, that would be awesome. Gears of War E-Day, that would be awesome. And the remake of the Halo campaign, Evolved, which I think will be interesting as well. Okay, so they do have some big things lined up, but I think what they need to do is they need to say, hey, we are releasing this exclusive for our premium console that you need to buy to experience this. And it's not going to go great at first because they don't have the brand, they don't have the history, they don't have the consistency, and they need to keep doing it. They need to deliver so that people go, oh, wow, we really missed out on that. I think next time I won't miss out on that. Here are the full emails. Okay, I don't really care about the full emails. There are the full emails. Maybe I should be reading them. We'll give them a quick read. I'm going to go through these and not talk as much about them because they're going to be quick. Gaming has been a part of Microsoft from the start. Flight Simulator shipped before Windows, and you can practically ray trace a line from DirectX in the 90s to the accelerated compute era we're in today. As we celebrate Xbox 25th year, the opportunity and innovation agenda in front of us is expansive. Today, we reach over 500 million monthly active users, are a top publisher across all platforms, and continue to innovate across gaming, hardware, content, community, and service of creators and players everywhere. I am long on gaming and its role at the center of our consumer ambition. As we look ahead, I'm excited to share that Asha Sharma will become Executive Vice President and CEO of Microsoft Gaming, reporting to me. Over the last 2 years at Microsoft and previously as Chief Operating Officer at Instacart and a Vice President at Meta, Asha has helped build and scale services that reach billions of people and support thriving consumer and developer ecosystems. She brings deep experience building and growing platforms, aligning business models to long-term value and operating at global scale, which will be critical in leading our gaming business into its next era of growth. So that part's good. That part is we want to bring people in. Matt Booty will become Executive Vice President and Chief Content Officer, reporting to Asha. Matt's career reflects a lifelong commitment to games and to the people who make them. Under his leadership, Microsoft Gaming has grown to span nearly 40 studios across Xbox, Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard, and King, which are home to beloved franchises including Halo, Elder Scrolls, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Candy Crush, and Fallout. They have so much. They have so much, man. Together, Asha and Matt have the right combination of consumer product leadership and gaming depth to push our platform innovation and content pipeline forward. Last year, Phil Spencer made the decision to retire from the company, and since then, we've been talking about succession planning. I want to thank Phil for his extraordinary leadership and partnership over 38 years at Microsoft, including 12 years leading gaming. Phil helped transform what we do and how we do it. He expanded our reach across PC, mobile, and cloud, nearly tripled the size of the business, helped shape our strategy through the acquisitions of Activision, Blizzard, ZeniMax, and Minecraft, and strengthened our culture across our studios and platforms. I've long admired Phil's unwavering commitment to players, creators, and his team, and I am personally grateful for his leadership and counsel. He will continue working closely with Asha to ensure a smooth transition. We have extraordinary creative talent across our studios and a global platform that is second to none. I'm excited for how we will catch the opportunity ahead and define what comes next while staying grounded in what players and creators value. Please join me in congratulating Asha and Matt on their new roles and in thanking Phil for everything he has done for Microsoft and for our industry. Totally fine. Again, I just think they need to really focus on that. You need to bring people back in, and I truly think your core audience, the way you're going to bring them back in, is a solid console with solid games and consistency. It's really not that hard. A solid console, solid games, and consistency. All right, let's take a look here. This is from Phil Spencer, a new chapter for Microsoft Gaming. When I walked through the Microsoft doors as an intern in June of 1988, I could never have imagined the products I'd helped build, the players and customers we'd serve, or the extraordinary teams I'd be lucky enough to join. It's been an epic ride and truly the privilege of a lifetime. Last fall, I shared with Satya that I was thinking about stepping back and starting the next chapter of my life. From that moment, we aligned on approaching this transition with intention, ensuring stability, and strengthening the foundation we've built. Xbox has always been more than a business. It's a vibrant community of players, creators, and teams who care deeply about what we build and how we build it, and it deserves a thoughtful, deliberate plan for the road ahead. Today marks an exciting new chapter for Microsoft Gaming as Asha Sharma steps into the role of CEO, and I want to be the first to welcome her to this incredible team. Working with her over the past several months has given me tremendous confidence. She brings genuine curiosity, clarity, and a deep commitment to understanding players, creators, and the decisions that shape our future. We know this is an important moment for our fans, partners, and team, and we're committed to getting it right. I'll remain in an advisory role through the summer to support a smooth handoff. I'm also grateful for the strength of our studio's organization. Matt Booty and our studio's teams continue to build an incredible portfolio. I have full confidence in leadership and creative momentum across our global studios. I want to congratulate Matt and his promotion to EVP and Chief Content Officer. As a part of the transition, Sarah Bond has decided to leave Microsoft to begin a new chapter. Sarah has been instrumental during a defining period of Xbox, which is true. I mean, she got the Activision Blizzard King thing through, which is crazy. Shaping our platform strategy, expanding Game Pass and cloud gaming, supporting new hardware launches, and guiding some of the most significant moments in our history. I'm grateful for her partnership and the impact she's had, and I wish her the very best in what comes next. I do truly believe that the best thing for Xbox, though, is to head pretty much in the opposite direction that Sarah Bond wanted to go, so I understand why she should be leaving. Most of all, to everyone in Microsoft Gaming, I want to say thank you. I've learned so much from this team and community, grown alongside you, and been continually inspired by the creativity, courage, and care you bring to players, creators, and to one another every day. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built together over the last 25 years, and I have complete confidence in all of you and in the opportunities ahead. I'll be cheering you on in this next chapter as Xbox proudest fan and player. Phil, that's sweet. That's really sweet. And this is Asha Sharma, so here we go. Yeah, okay, she's got a long one. She's got a long one. Here we go. Dear team, today I begin my role as CEO of Microsoft Gaming. I feel two things at once, humility and urgency. Humility because this team has built something extraordinary over decades. Urgency because gaming is in a period of rapid change and we need to move with clarity and conviction. I am stepping into work shaped by generations of artists, engineers, designers, writers, musicians, operators, and more who create worlds that have brought joy and deep personal meaning to hundreds of millions of players. The level of craft here is exceptional and it is amplified by Xbox, which was founded in belief that the power of games connect people and push the industry forward. That's a good start. Thank you to Phil for his leadership and to every studio platform and operations team that built this foundation. We are stewards of some of the most loved stories and characters in entertainment and bring players and creators together around the fun and community of gaming in entirely new ways. My first job is simple. Understand what makes this work and protect it. That starts with 3 commitments. First, great games. Okay, so this is just going to go down what we already talked about, right? I mean, let's break down what she actually says. Everything begins here. Yes. Oh my goodness. We're falling apart. Boom. Everything begins here. We must have great games beloved by players before we do anything. Unforgettable characters, stories that make us feel, innovative gameplay, and creative excellence. We will empower our studios, invest in iconic franchises, and back bold new ideas. We will take risks. We will enter new categories and markets where we can add real value, grounded in what players care about most. I promoted back Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. He understands his crowd. Okay, that's basically exactly what we read earlier. Celebrate with our roots, developers. Yeah, this is all exactly what we read. Here we go, from Matt Booty. I read Phil's note with much gratitude. He has been a steady champion for game creators in our studio teams, and I've learned so much from his leadership over the years. All our games have benefited from his foundational support. I'm also grateful to Satya for his ongoing commitment to gaming and holding a vision of how it can connect back to the larger company. Looking forward, I'm excited to partner with Asha as our next CEO. Our conversation centered on her commitment to making great games and the role that plays in our overall success. She asks questions, pushes for clarity, and wants our choices grounded in player and developer needs. That mindset matters as the industry around us is changing quickly, how players engage and how games are made, and how business models and platforms evolve. We have good reasons to believe in what's ahead. This organization and its franchises have navigated change for decades, and our strength comes from teams we know how to adapt and keep delivering. That confidence is grounded in a strong pipeline of established franchises, new bets we believe in, and clear player demand for what we are building. My focus is on supporting the teams and leaders we have in place and creating the conditions for them to do their best work. To be clear, there are no organizational changes underway for our studios. Thank you for everything you do for players and for each other, Matt. Okay, so let's go all the way back to the top here. What does this mean? What does this really mean? Well, we only know so much because, let's try to get this ad out of the way. Is it going to let me? It's not worth it. Okay, what does this mean? It only means so much because we don't actually know where the future's going. But Xbox is making some very serious changes. Xbox's trend has looked like this. I mean, it is genuinely, I guess it looks better for this for you guys. So it has literally just been crashing down. Okay? Now, it is extremely difficult to head in the same direction and change your velocity. You have to have an extreme acceleration change, okay? I think it is better for Xbox to backtrack up the way that they came, okay? Take back all of the day one drops on Game Pass and go, you know what? We're going to make Game Pass cheaper. We're going to still make it worth your while, but we're also going to incentivize you to have an Xbox and buy our big multi-million-dollar projects. You ever heard of that? You ever heard of that strategy? It's what PlayStation's doing right now. Okay? I think they need to focus on quality games. I 100% agree. And those quality games need to come out on a quality console that you advertise like it's actually worth buying. Not everything's an Xbox. No, everything's not an Xbox. this is an Xbox, and you should buy this Xbox for X, Y, and Z reasons. Does that make sense? If we can actually go in that direction, they actually make quality games. They consistently do it, and they mean what they say when they don't just throw in AI slop to make the creative and development process way quicker. We could see the return of a competitor to PlayStation/Sony and Nintendo in the coming years, but it will be a very slow journey. We will watch Xbox have to march and struggle their way back up to being a competitor, and I don't know if they have it in them. I genuinely don't know if they have it in them. But that's what I think. What do you guys think down in the comments below? Let us know. Like I said, this went a lot longer than I thought, but hey, we had a lot to talk about. I think the whole Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo arguments and debates are big things. Gaming definitely is changing, but what really is the best direction for Microsoft to go in? I have my opinions, but we want to hear yours down in the comments below. Make sure you leave a like and comment if you enjoyed the video, and of course, please subscribe if you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in whatever comes next, but until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.